Hey guys, MrPokke here, and yeah, we are going to be back to the main channel, and this time we are bringing back with a Nangong Yu guide from the early access. So today we'll be taking a look at the leader and lead dancer of Angel of Illusions. She is an either stun unit, but in reality, she is more like an anomaly agent with the stun class. So have you ever thought about what could happen if Qing Yi and Vivian fuse into a single character? Because that's pretty much what Nangong is. So without further ado, let's take a look at her kit. Like many other agents, Nangong comes with a special resource called Downbeat. She can hold up to 100 downbeats and can make use of it with her hold basic attacks. And you can also recover it naturally through the fight, but more on that later on. Actual basic, after pressing it, she will perform a generic 3 attack combo, dealing ether damage, while if you hold her basic, it will instead charge her Morning Stars to perform a heavy attack on release, quickly dashing to a target. Additionally, with enough downbeats, you can follow this attack with another 2 hold basic, and each of these 2 attacks will require 50 downbeats to be performed. However, there is an important subtlety about 3 hold basic attacks, which is you can release them at the right timing, triggering precise charging to increase the days of each attack by 20%, which is very important to hit those actual perfect timings. You can know if you hit the perfect timing by looking at the wing color, and don't worry, the perfect timing window is actually pretty wide and should be easy to do consistently with very little practice. You can also block attacks during the dash of the first attack, triggering the first phase charging if you successfully block the attack. And you can also skip directly to the second attack after using a chain attack, ultimate, or EX special, while making both the second and third attack count as a precise charging. And both the chain, ultimate, and EX special do not interrupt the combo count of the hold basic. Her first hold basic isn't really impressive because it doesn't deal much days, so if you don't need a little extra, it's not a bad idea to skip this first hold basic completely. Then for the dodge and assist is pretty much nothing worth noting, though her assist deals a fair amount of days, although the follow-up attack comes with a slightly longer animation. And then for the special and EX, she can make a graceful ballerina-like movement, dealing a fair amount of days and anomaly for the cost of 40 energy. And lastly, for a chain ultimate, her chain attack deals a fair amount of anomaly but isn't worth using, and the main thing is gonna be an ultimate which deals an absurd amount of days while activating the Ether Veil Delusion reprise for 30 seconds, which is the same Ether Veil as Suna as well as Arya, and for a reminder, this increases the team attack by 50. It is also worth mentioning that at her fellow members, she deactivates the same veil the instance before activating hers, allowing it to trigger the on-veil activation effect such as Arya's Phantom Power Generation. Now let's get to the real deal, her core skill. Because both her core passive and additional ability are longer than Jufufu's meta relevancy, we'll try to keep things as clear as possible. So with a core passive, she gets 120 AP in combat for free. Any point of anomaly mastery above 110 will provide 1 impact. And when an enemy is stunned, each time any ally triggers an bloom, disorder, or inflicts an anomaly attribute, it will gain 1 stack of vibrato and can have up to 4 stacks. When this reaches the maximum amount of stacks, or if the enemy recovers from the stun, it will clear all vibrato stacks to trigger an bloom, with each stack increasing the damage ratio by 25%, which means that at 4 stacks, the bloom ratio is going to be doubled, triggering once per stun. When hitting her whole basic attacks or EX special, it increases her own anomaly build-up by 35%, her days by 20%, and the squad's damage by 25% for 30 seconds. And she regenerates 3.8 downbeats per second when in combat, restoring 12 downbeats whenever any ally triggers an anomaly with a 6-second cooldown, on top of entering the battlefield with 30 downbeats. So generally speaking, she will need roughly 18 seconds to go down from 0 to 100 downbeats, and 12 seconds to go from 30 to 100 downbeats. And then for the additional ability, this gets activated whenever you have an anomaly or other AOD agents in your squad, and it deals a lot of different things. So when attacking stun enemies, increases the team's anomaly build-up rate by 30%, and increase by another 30% for chain attacks. And when an ally stuns an enemy, she will gain 2 stacks of dance prowess for 15 seconds. So for this point, hitting a stun enemy with the EX, hold BA, and quick assist consumes 1 stack, triggering polarity disorder equal to 25% of the original disorder, alongside with a backward quick assist. And when she has dance prowess, swapping to her makes Nangong automatically perform the first whole basic while triggering precise charging. Additionally, when any ally stuns an enemy, she gets a free use of EX special, available for 15 seconds with a 15 seconds cooldown. Now note that when Arya is in a squad, if Nangong assists Arya in her plunging attacks against a stunned enemy, she will consume 1 stack of dance prowess to trigger polarity disorder. And when she hits an enemy with third hold or ultimate, she will inflict misstep on them, which increases the stun duration by 3 seconds as well as stun damage multiplied by 30%. Misstep is going to be cleared when the enemy recovers from the stun, so take note of that. So now that we covered the entire kit, there's quite a bit to say about her core skill, so let's do a quick summary for everything that Nangong is able to provide. So Nangong is going to be a stunner who will stay mostly on field, building AP stats and mostly stuns during her well-timed whole basic attacks. She will provide a ton of buff on Anomaly agents while stunning enemies at light speed, with her buffs being 25% damage, 30% stun multiplier, and 3-second stuns pause timing. She also deals a decent amount of damage considering her absurd stunning speed, though her polarity disorders, a bloom, and great anomaly build-up paired with her AP stat being fairly high, making her also act as a pseudo-anomaly sub-DPS. Something very important to know about Nangong is that she's supposed to pair with anomaly agents, be it Arya or other agents, meaning that her personal damage is actually relevant. For Arya, because both idols are Ether and because of how Arya's bloom works, there will be cases where anomaly built by Nangong will affect some of Arya's actual damage, making it important to have a Nangong who deals damage. This is the same thing for anomaly agents with other attributes such as Miyabi, because Nangong will be the one building and triggering corruption, so her personal damage will be relevant for other teams' disorders. So for the skill priority, it's going to be core over basic over special over ultimate, over assist as well as dodge. Now moving on to the W engine, her signature weapon Neon Fantasy is extremely good and a bit too good. It gives her 30% anomaly mastery, helping her personal build-up, but most importantly, 37.8 impact, which is 31.5% impact in Nangong's case. Additionally, it gives her 150 AP while also giving 30% damage to the entire team. This engine alone gives Nangong an absurd amount of stats, which cannot be rivaled by any other available engines in the game, even more so when accounting for the premium options. Outside of the signature engine, there are some possible alternatives like Steam Oven as well as Simmering Pot, giving some days as well as damage for the assist follow-up attack. And while these two options are free, they actually perform similarly if not better than other S-rank options in practice. The sad reality is that the signature is really good, being a 20% damage increase for Arya teams to the point where it might be smarter to prioritize getting her signature over Arya's signature. For other anomaly DPS, that can be even bigger due to the loss of both AM and AP, impacting heavily the team's disorders. That being said, if her signature is pretty diabolical, Nangong is already extremely good by herself and will still perform very well with the free options. Now moving on to the drive disc, if you are going to be playing with Arya, you will essentially build exactly like an anomaly agent, but there are two ways to go about it. Give her 4-piece Phaeton with the 2-piece being AP, attack, damage or penetration, or even 2-piece days if you need faster stunts. Or you could also give her 4-piece Shining Arya, with the 2-piece being Phaeton's Melody for the anomaly mastery. Regardless of the set you choose, you should pretty much always have a 2-piece AM because you want to play 4-piece Phaeton or it's going to be the only 2-piece. We'll cover the details here, but in theory, 4-piece Phaeton's Melody should always be preferred over Shining Arya, although in practice, both sets perform extremely similarly, so in that reality, you should just go with the one that has the better subsets. And one small note about Arya, with Nangong both 4-piece Melody as well as Shining Arya end up performing very much the same, both sets also have their pros and cons. And in theory, Phaeton's Melody should be better too, but at the end of the day, the answer is just very simple. Go with the one with the better subsets. Overall, the 4-piece Phaeton is the safest option, but if you're going to be putting Nangong to play with other anomaly agents, another situational option can be worth considering, and is none other than 4-piece Freedom Blues. But if you do not have a signature like Cone and you're not going to be facing other Ether weak enemies, the 4-piece effect can be beneficial for these teams as you need your Nangong to proc corruption by yourself. You could consider 4-piece Disco, but it might be helpful for niche cases just for the extra days like in Daily Assault, but it's not really recommended for most players. For the main sets, AP in Disc 4, either damage or pen ratio in Disc 5, as well as anomaly mastery in Disc 6. AM in Disc is going to be giving her more impact than running an actual impact disc, so it's definitely going to be a must-have. And as usual, pen is less valuable against enemies with lower defense or paired with defense threats. For the subsets, focus on AP and attack percentage, followed by flat pen and flat attack. AP subsets do have some value if you do not have a signature weapon. Now moving on to the Mindscapes, her M1 decreases the enemy's odd attribute rest by 80% for 40 seconds, on top of making her enter the downbeat with 100 instead of 30. This ratio is going to be very valuable, and being able to begin a combo with a full whole base attack combo can sometimes allow you to enter the stun rotations a lot faster. Now M2 is going to increase the damage done by the blooms by another 10% per stack, with the maximum now being 140% instead of 100%. On top of that, she can trigger an additional polarity disorder when an active character uses a chain attack, and she also increases stun multiplier by another 30%, which is a massive damage increase. For the Mindscape 4, gives her another 40 AP on top of 35% build up, which is very nice. And lastly, M6 gives her days by 50% while getting access to Vibrator Modified, which is basically an additional bloom that she can proc while the target is not even stunned. So at this point, Nangong's early Mindscape is really good, but despite that, it is still better to get a signature engine because it is just way too good of a vertical investment. As mentioned, the other engine options are miles behind the signature, and again, it can actually prove to be a bigger upgrade over Arya's signature weapon in the idol team. That being said, her first two mind skills are both really good, being a nearly 40% team-wide damage increase over the M0 for the idle team specifically. So if you can't afford it, you can just go for Nangong's M2 once you've got a signature weapon. Now moving on to the team comps, you've probably got it at this point, but Nangong is going to be a stunner perfectly made for the Anomaly class. Because the biggest restriction is the necessity of an Anomaly agent, you essentially play her with every single Anomaly DPS. So while the most obvious team choice for her is going to be AOD, she actually works wonderfully well with pretty much every other Anomaly DPS, whether it be a Miyabi, Alice, Yanagi, or even Grace. All of these agents will perform better using her. Basically, Nangong acts as the Anomaly sub DPS in the team, but is currently better than all available options. Now regarding Jane though, while Nangong is currently an upgrade because she does have better numbers, these two don't really have the best synergy unlike Jane with Vivian's Ablooms. So while Nangong may be better right now, she gets the least value from the idol of the Anomaly roster. With Arias being the best team using all three idols together, if your Sana is going to be too busy with YSG, you can use Yuzuha instead as she is not far behind in performance. Although for Arias specifically, while the support choice still matters a lot, Nangong is by far the most important piece in the team and can get away by using a weaker support at least for now. Now, outside of Arya teams, the team building will essentially go something like this. First, you pick an Anomaly DPS, then you slot in Nangong, and lastly, you pick a support, with Yuzuha being usually the best one. And now that we look at the teams and how to build her, let's take a look at her endgame performances featuring Arya as well as several other Anomaly DPS. As you guys can see from this table over here, the teams featuring her managed to get S clears quite easily, both in daily assault as well as shield defense. The new version 2.7 DA boss favors playing Anomaly as well as having a stun on your team, so naturally teams featuring her will score very well, but as you can see, even against Vesper, she proves to be a considerable improvement over Yuzuha in the Arya team. So that's pretty much all we have for you guys today. With the release, Nangong completes the Angels of Delusions team while reawakening the entire Anomaly class, giving them a new way to be played on top of a stronger teammate and likely to stay dominant with the future Anomaly units. Speaking of future Anomaly units, one thing worth mentioning is that there is a new Ice Anomaly disc releasing in version 2.7 called Noted from the Chain. Currently, it's not going to be a single credit that can use this set, and it's really looking like it will fit Promea, so you want to keep that piece of information in mind. So even if she's going to be designed to pair with another fellow groupmates, she is still highly demanded with other Anomaly teams, similar to dialing with Attack and Rupture teams. If you're an Anomaly main, you should truly consider pulling for Nangong. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, join Discord, Twitter, and Twitch. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Use code POKE for 10% on Gamer Subs. All the best with Gacha Pools. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.